welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. Today is a very special day because I am going to be guiding us through a 2-hour mini yoga retreat. So we're going to get into talking about the 8-limb path of the Ashtanga Yoga practice. We'll get to that discussion in the second hour. But first, we are going to start with introductions. So, with this being a smaller community as it is right now, and also thank you all so much. While I did not meet my goal for 2025 for followers and subscribers, I am still so thankful for everyone who is following and subscribed, whether you're following on Twitch or subscribed on YouTube. If you are finding this on LinkedIn and Facebook, my goals, my measurable goals are set for the year for specifically for Twitch and for YouTube. So I had a 25 follower goal on Twitch, and I haven't actually gone into my Twitch, so I don't know where I'm at with that. But the last time that I checked, I had 9 followers there in that space. And then YouTube, I had a 150 subscriber goal for 2025. And I'm at 139. So I'm super excited and super grateful for everyone who is following and finding value from these daily practices. So today's mini yoga retreat will combine meditation and movement. So this is the daily practice that will encompass both the pause, practice, play that I usually guide daily and the meditation for misfits that I usually guide daily. So going forward, if you are new to this space, whether you're catching this live or on the replay, I typically will guide 2 different sessions per day, a mindful movement session and a meditation session. So keep an eye out for those. And again, you can keep updated on that if you're following and or subscribed. Or if you're connected to me on LinkedIn or following my Yoga Story Facebook page. So with that, today we are going to be, our introductions, how we'll do this is if you're comfortable to share what your intention, what your word, what your hope is for 2026, feel free to share that in the comments. This can be as interactive or non-interactive as we all make it, but today I will be interacting a little bit more with the comments that come through that are obviously specifically related to our mini yoga retreat. So with that, again, feeling free to either share in the comments or you can journal out for yourself. So you can take some time here to maybe get a journal, get a writing utensil, and maybe grab a nice warm cup of tea or coffee or hot cocoa, whatever you want to bring in to make your space cozy and relaxed and feel retreat-like. We have here in Wisconsin, there is a light gentle snow falling that makes it feel really nice to be inside. But it is fun to watch outside, really pretty, how it's just like very calmly falling. So I will share my intention and my word and my hope for 2026 as an example, and to set that example. So my intention for 2026 going forward is to be in more spaces that bring me peace, and also to letting me bring more peace into the spaces that I enter. So over the last couple of years, personally, there has been a lot of kind of roller coaster of emotion. I have experienced some, to put it nicely, not so pleasant experiences. I have had some not so pleasant experiences with people that has really diminished my trust in people. So going forward, I realize, and over the last couple of years, because of some of those experiences, I have put myself into burnout mode, trying to be here, be there, trying to, without getting too deep in the weeds, trying to protect people, trying to warn about things going on in the community. And it has really caused a lot of, it has been detrimental to my mental, emotional, and spiritual health and growth. So because of that, I realize, okay, I need to let go of some of those spaces where I don't have, where it doesn't feel as supportive, and and move more into those spaces that are peaceful, that are life-giving, that feel very supportive. So doing that so that I can then show up also more clear-headed, more focused, and with peace, with a peaceful energy. My word actually comes from, oh, thank you, Zigbad. Thank you so much for sharing your, oh, and I'm actually going to talk about this a little bit. Your intention to let go of anything that doesn't serve you or your, or higher, or the greater good. Yeah, that's beautiful. And word is gratitude. Ah, lovely. So my word comes from a pretty violent movie, pretty violent film, Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. There's a line in there that the female lead says, and it's wiggle your big toe. Now she is in a, and not to make this wild comparison for myself, but in the movie, she's in this place where she's paralyzed. She has I think it's been so long since I've actually watched the movie, but I really held on to that line. I think maybe she was poisoned, maybe somebody can share in here, but she is not able to move. She can still see, she can still think, but her body is not able to move, because of something. There's a whole, I mean, the story is one essentially of revenge, but this line, and it goes deeper than that, but there's this line, wiggle your big toe, that she keeps saying over and over and over again, taking one small part of her body, directing her focus in that area, and imploring, demanding, asking that part of her body to move. And then as it finally does, as her big toe starts to move, then everything else starts to work. She starts to be able to be more mobile. She's able to get up and complete her mission. So the reason that wiggle your big toe is such an impactful line to me is there's so many times where, because of, just wanting justice, wanting fairness for people, wanting to essentially, in a lot of cases, wanting to control things that I have no control over to speak of, I have felt very helpless. And so in those moments of helplessness and kind of a lack of empowerment and a lack of power, it can bring you into that place of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, right? So freeze is that place of where your sympathetic nervous system is activated, you can't move, or you feel like you can't move. And so my word going forward into this year is we're going to keep moving, even if it's just little things at a time, directing focus toward these little goals, toward these little areas in my life, so that I can make sure that I come to my hope for the year, which is healing, emotional and mental healing from some of these pain and hurt that I've experienced over the last couple of years. Oh, thank you. 4-year coma from a gunshot wound. Okay, yes. So that explains things. So yes, so that is my intention, be in more spaces that are supportive and peaceful to bring more peace into spaces. Word is wiggle your big toe, and hope is restorative healing. So with that, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Indeed it does. So with that, we are going to move right into our guided mindful movement practice. Here I'll go through our tentative schedule. So the next thing that we'll be doing is I'll be guiding you through some movement, just about a 20-minute practice. We will be doing a combination of mostly grounded poses, so seated or on our knees. So just being aware if you need some support beneath your knees, a blanket or something, or knee pads, feel free to bring those in. And then 5 senses. We'll do our 5 senses guided meditation. And once we move into we'll do the 5 senses meditation. We'll do mindful walking, where essentially I'm just going to kind of move back and forth, but do feel free if you're viewing this on your mobile phone. You might take it outside and go for a walk there if you don't mind using your data. Take a walk outside if you like, or walk around your home, inside, outside, wherever you'd like to walk. We'll do that for about 10 minutes. Then we'll get into another mindfulness guided meditation where I'll guide a mental and emotional mindfulness, but we'll take a tiny break in between because I'll switch microphones, because the rest of the, after the mindful walking, the rest will be mostly a combination of lecture and discussion, depending on how interactive the comment section becomes. So I'm going to switch microphones to a nicer microphone for guiding meditation and for speaking, and then for guiding that breath work and Om. And finally, we'll close with a mantra. So with that, let's bring up our 8-limb, oh, no, we'll do that later. Let's, 5 senses, that's what we're doing. We're going to do our 5, no, we're doing guided mindful movement. We're off to a great start, folks. We're off to a great start. Oh, okay. So whenever you're ready, making your way into a comfortable seated position, you might bring a blanket underneath your seat for a little bit more support. So feel free to do whatever you need there. Rest your palms either face down or face up on your knees. And here we'll start with some shoulder rolls. So lifting your shoulders up, inhale. Roll your shoulders back and down. Exhale. Shoulders up, breath in. Back and down. Shoulders up. Back and down. And then here, bringing that in the opposite direction, lifting your shoulders up. Forward and down. Shoulders up. Forward and down. And once more, shoulders up. Forward and down. Here, opening your arms out to a T, breath in, close, reach forward, round your back, chin to chest. Open, inhale, look forward or up. Close and reach, exhale, Flexion through the spine. Open, feeling that extension through the spine. Once more, close. Open. And then bringing your hands to prayer, press your palms together, breath in, twist to your right, rotating through belly and chest. Center, breath in, twist to your left. Center, twist to your right. Center, once more, twist to your left. And coming back to center, here reach both arms out and up. Releasing your right arm down, left reaches up and over to your right. Both hands high, breath in. Left arm down, right up and over to your left. Both hands high, inhale. Hands to prayer, palms together, thumbs to the center of your chest. Here, if you're in that cross-legged seat, switch legs, whatever's in front to back or top to bottom, and we'll move through that little sequence once more. Here, relaxing your arms, relaxing your hands, and we'll start with forward shoulder roll. So lifting your shoulders up, inhale. Release your shoulders forward and down. Exhale. Shoulders up, breath in. Forward and down. And once more, shoulders up. Forward and down. Lift your shoulders up, inhale. Back and down. Shoulders up. Back and down. Shoulders up. Back and down. Opening your arms to a T, breath in, close, reach forward, round your back, chin to chest, squeeze through your belly. Open, inhale, look forward or up. Close and reach, exhale. Open, breath in. And once more, close. Open, reaching both hands high, inhale. Left arm down, right up and over to your left. Both hands high, breath in. Right arm down, left up and over to your right. Both hands high, inhale. Hands to prayer. And then from here, we're going to make our way onto the belly. Option to roll up a blanket underneath your ankles for a little bit more support of the lower back. As you make your way onto your belly, hands under shoulders, chin or forehead to your mat. Breath in. On your exhale, traction the heels of your hands back. Tilt your ribs up, soften your shoulders back. Small cobra. Lower down, inhale. Lift, strong through your lower back, exhale. Lower down, breath in. Once more, lift. Lift your legs, breath in. Lower everything down. Reach your arms out in front of you. Breath in. On your exhale, lifting through your chin and chest, lift your arms, pull your elbows back, strong through your upper back. Reach forward, lower down, inhale. Lift, pull your elbows back, exhale. Reach forward, lower down, breath in. Once more, lift, pull. Here, drop your arms alongside your body, palms down, chin or forehead to your mat. Zip your legs together, breath in. On your exhale, locust pose, lift your head, shoulders, arms, hands, legs. Lower down, inhale. Lift, exhale. Lower down, breath in. Once more, lift. Stay for an inhale. Lower down, exhale. Hands under shoulders, press yourself up to tabletop. Here, coming to your hands and knees, we'll find cat-cow. On your exhale, cat, press down through your hands, lift your belly, round your back. Cow, breath in, chest forward, tailbone lifts. Cat, exhale, flexion through the spine. Cow, inhale, extension through the spine. And then here, coming to cat pose, stay for a couple breaths. Next, inhale, cow pose, belly drops, chest forward, tailbone lifts. And again, stay for a couple breaths. Child's pose, knees wide, hips back, forehead rests on your mat. Here, pressing down with your hands, walk your hands back and make your way high up onto your shins. You can curl your toes under behind you, press your palms together, breath in, twist to your right, breath out. Center, inhale, twist to your left, center, twist to your right, center, twist to your left, center. Here, once more, twisting to your right. Option to drop your right hand to the back of your right hip or to your heel behind you, sending your left hand high. Thumb and forefinger connect. Look up to the side or behind, whatever feels best for your neck. And then returning to that twist, inhale, unwind, exhale, stay for a breath in, twist to your left, here dropping your left hand to the back of your left hip or down to your left heel, send your right hand high, thumb and forefinger connect. Again, you can gaze up to the side or behind, whatever feels best here on your neck, on this side. Breathe. Next, inhale, return to that twist. Exhale, unwind, and drop your hands to your hips. Send your left foot out to your left so your heel and the ball of your foot are anchored to the ground. I'm going to actually see if I can keep that stable without cutting off my head. There. So here, left foot is out to the left. Anchor your anchor your heel and the ball of your foot and the pinky edge of your foot. Oh my goodness. Left hand to your hip or to your thigh. Send your right hand high. Breath in. Reach up and over to your left. Breath out. Come back to center. Inhale. Reach up and over. Exhale. Center. Breath in. Once more, reach up and over and stay for a couple breaths. Both hands high, returning to center. Hands to prayer. Twist to your left, lifting your left toes up. Unwind from your twist. Return your foot to the ground and bring your knee back in. Here, switch, extending your right leg out to your right. Anchor through your heel, pinky edge, and ball of your foot. Right hand to your hip or thigh, left hand high. Breath in, reach up and over to your right. Breath out. Come back to center. Inhale, reach up and over. Exhale. Center, breath in. Once more, reach up and over and stay for a couple breaths. Both hands high, coming back to center. Inhale, hands to prayer. Twist to your right, lift your right toes up. Breathe. Unwind from your twist, returning your foot to the mat, and bring your knee again underneath your hip. Here, make your way to tabletop, coming down to your hands and knees and back to cat-cow. On your exhale, cat, press down to your hands, lift your belly around your back. Cow, inhale, chest forward, tailbone lifts. And a few more here, moving on your own with your breath. Next breath in, return to neutral spine. And then dropping your hips back into one side, swing your legs out in front of you, making your way to a seated position, legs long in front of you, heels to the top of your mat. Bend to your knees, reach forward, option to bring a blanket behind you to support your head and neck, and gently lying back. From here, bring your right knee up toward your chest, hands over your shin, hug your knee in. Clasping your fingers behind your thigh, press your right heel high. Bend your knee, release your right hand to your mat, and bring your knee across your body to the left. Bring your knee to center, clasping your fingers behind your thigh. Once more, press your heel high. Bend your knee, plant your foot on the ground, and let your knee fall open to your right. Relax your arms wherever feels best here for you. Breathe. Bring your knee in, send your leg long and switch. Left knee up toward your chest, hands over your shin, hug your knee in, feel your low back press to the ground. And then here, clasping your fingers behind your thigh, press your left heel high. Bend your knee, relaxing your left arm down. Bring your knee across your body to the right. And then bringing your knee back to center. Again, clasping your fingers behind your thigh. Press your heel high. Bend your knee, plant your foot on the ground, and let your knee fall open to your left. Bring your knee in, send your leg long, point your toes, reach your arms up overhead, full body stretch, reach. And then crossing left ankle over right, slide your limbs over to your right. Coming back to center, full body stretch. Cross left ankle, rather right ankle over left, and slide your limbs over to your left. Coming back to center again, finding that full body stretch, reach. And then here, letting your plant your feet on the ground, arms come back down alongside your body. Separate your feet wide, windshield wiper your knees, letting your knees fall together from one side to the other. Bring your knees back to center, arms open to a T. Wrap your arms around your body, giving yourself a hug and rocking from one side to the other. Come back to center, arms open to a T. Opposite elbow over elbow, wrapping your arms around, rocking side to side. And here again, coming back to center, relax your arms, send your legs long. Find a comfortable final pose for a few breaths here. Together, we breathe in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, letting everything go. And resting body, mind, breath here in our final pose, Shavasana. Feel free to rest here as long as you need. And when you're ready, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, deepen your breath, waking up your body. Bring your knees up towards your chest, reaching your arms up overhead, breath in. Option to roll to one side or rock up, make your way back to a comfortable seated position. Resting your palms face down or face up on your knees. Lift your shoulders up, inhale. Roll your shoulders back and down. Exhale. Take a moment to get some water, whatever you need to support your mind, body, and spirit in this moment after that movement practice. And then we'll get into a 5 senses mindfulness meditation. I need water. So here, once you're ready, let me check on. Awesome. Okay. Nope. So if you would keep comments relevant to the yoga retreat, and I am happy to interact with comments that are relevant to the retreat activities that we're doing today. So today, or continuing on, I'll be guiding us through our 5 senses mindfulness practice. This practice, we're just simply drawing attention, bringing awareness to our 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. So to whatever degree you have access to those senses, we will be bringing attention, mindfully aware of what our sensory experience is, without attaching any value judgment, no good or bad, to what our experience is in this moment. So here, feel free to find a comfortable seated position. You can also lie on your back or on your side. An option to close your eyes. And we'll start with our sense of hearing. So bringing gentle awareness to your sense of hearing. Here, first noticing what sounds you might be picking up in the distance, maybe outside of the room you're in, outside of the space you're in, or distant from you. Observing if you can label the sound. Aware of the high or low pitch of sound, the rhythm, the loudness or quietness of the sounds in the distance. And then here, bringing mindful awareness to your sense of smell. As you breathe in, noticing the aromas around you. Again, noticing anything that you can label. Maybe there's a scent of lingering food from what you've had to, or from what you've cooked or baked. Maybe there's the scent of candles. Any scents that you might have on your body. And then here, gently shifting your attention to your sense of taste, noticing that connection between smell and taste. Observing any flavors on your tongue from anything that you've perhaps recently had to eat or drink. Noticing any bitter, sour, salty, sweet. And then shifting your attention to your sense of touch. Observing the air on your skin, the warmth or coolness. Does the air feel comfortable, uncomfortable? Noticing here the texture of your clothing, softness or roughness, the fittedness or looseness. And then here, bringing attention to the support beneath your body. Where do you feel supported? Here, aware of sensations through the body. Tension or ease. Gently coming back to your sense of taste. connection between taste and smell, noticing the taste as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Again, aware of the aromas on the air. And then as you direct your attention again to your sense of hearing, noticing the sounds within your space. Any hum of electronics or appliances. Is it quiet? Is there music or conversation? Noticing the sound of your breath. And then here, gently blinking open your eyes. And again, to whatever degree you have sense of sight, noticing the sights around you. Noticing the colors, the shapes, observing the objects. And then together, we'll find a deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth exhale, letting go of that practice. And again, feel free to adjust, shift, whatever you need to support your body and mind in this moment before we move on to our mindful walking practice. All right, so we will move into mindful walking. So what we can do with mindful walking here is, one, you can feel free to go outside if that is feasible for you, or you can stay inside. If you are if you have a limited mobility with regards to walking, then you can work with your upper body or really any part of your body. The idea here is to focus on the step-by-step movement to increase focus and to increase body awareness. So for example, if we're working with our upper body, we might just start with a alternating shoulder roll back or forward, and then maybe bringing the elbow into it. So leading that movement with the elbow, noticing the arm become heavier and heavier as we lead with different parts of the arm, leading with the wrist, leading with the hand, the fingers, and you might do a full circle of the arm back or circle of the arm forward, or whatever part of the body that you want to move, feel free if walking is not accessible to you. So here, if walking is accessible for you, we're going to rise up to stand. And what I'm going to do here is just find a few steps forward, a few steps back. Try to keep this stable. Oops. And just kind of pace back and forth from pretty much just behind my mat to just beyond the mat. So here, if you are walking, you can drop your arms down. And first, just notice what has to happen before we even take that first step forward. We have to shift our weight to the stabilizing foot, and to lighten the foot that's about to move. So here, and as we move that foot, we're bringing flexion to the knee, to the hip, landing on the heel, feeling the pinky edge of the foot roll forward, and then finally onto the ball of the foot. And then we're shifting our weight onto that foot. That foot becomes the stabilizing foot. Excuse me. And the opposite one steps forward again, heel through the pinky edge to the ball of the foot, toes always remaining somewhat relaxed. So here, stepping forward from heel through the pinky edge to the ball of the foot, feeling the stabilizing leg shift from one leg to the other, feeling the support of the ground beneath the feet. And it might feel awkward at first to be moving this slowly. Of course, the idea of our yoga retreat, the idea of practicing yoga and meditation is in part to encourage us to slow down, to become more aware, and to gain clarity through that awareness. So here we're going to take you can either, you can either turn around if it feels better for you to be able to look in the direction that you're moving, or if you want to challenge your balance a little bit here, you can start to walk backwards, starting with landing on the ball of the foot, rolling again through the pinky edge to the heel. So ball of the foot to heel, and just gently, mindfully walking forwards and backwards. Here, if walking is not accessible to you, you might be moving the body. So maybe you're rolling through the shoulders, feeling that movement of the front, sides, and back of the shoulders. Maybe rolling the shoulders forward, feeling that engagement through the front of the shoulders as you bring the shoulders forward. And then here you might bring the elbows into it. So here maybe you lead with the elbows and feel a little bit more heaviness through the upper part of the arms and the shoulders as you lift the elbows forward, or up, forward and down, or up, back and down. And if you want to do both, here really challenging awareness, challenging focus, moving the upper body with that mindful walking movement. Here, maybe now leading with the wrist, lifting the wrist, feeling almost like the arm is moving through water. Yeah, feel free to move the upper body with that walking motion, or just keep the arms alongside the body and focus on the lower body movements. And notice any resistance that you have here. If you are feeling silly or awkward, or if you're feeling a little bit more free to move. And then lastly here, we'll take a few more steps forward, a few more steps back. And if you're using just the upper body or adding the upper body to it, maybe here now you're leading with your hands and fingers, sending your hand forward, circling your arm up and back, or sending your hand back and circling your arm forward and down. And we'll take a few more steps back, or a little bit more walking here. If you're walking outside, you're probably not just moving back and forth. So know that that is not the idea here. The idea here is simply to walk. Does not have to be in any particular direction. Can just be forward. Could just be backward, just being sure that you're staying safe if you're only walking backward, particularly if you're outside. And then we'll take a few more steps forward. Maybe you bring both arms into it. Just really feeling all of the different sensations through the body, paying attention to how the hips are feeling, how the knees are feeling, shoulders, wrists, and elbows. And then finding your way back to a comfortable seated position, or you can continue your walk as you need, as you'd like. And here, feel free to take some water. I'm going to switch out mics. And we'll move into the more, what will likely turn out to be more of a lecture-y style of session here after I guide a mindfulness of mental and emotional space. All right, so here should be able to, yep, it looks like that is working. Okay, great. So here we're going to find a comfortable seat. Or again, you can feel free to lie down on your back or on your side, really positioning yourself in whatever way feels best here for you. And then bringing your attention here, option to close your eyes. Bringing your attention to your mental space, observing thoughts that arrive or that you've arrived with that are continuing to linger. And noticing here any busyness or calmness of mind. There are a lot of thoughts fighting for attention, or is there just a couple of thoughts moving through, imagining your mind as a bright blue sky and each thought just a puff of cloud gently passing by. Here, mindful awareness of thought. We're not attaching our identity to these thoughts. The thoughts that arrive do not indicate who we are. Notice any resistance to bringing, or rather to observing thought. Any heaviness or lightness of thought. Here, aware of any thoughts connected to your physical space, to physical sensations in the body? Is there a thought that is attached to a tension in the body or an ease in the body, or that creates a tension or an ease? And then here, bringing gentle awareness to your emotional space. Observing any emotions you've come in with that linger. Notice any resistance to emotion. And then giving yourself permission to feel, to notice. Noticing here any heaviness or lightness of emotion. And again, any connection between emotion and physical space, sensation in the body. Aware of any connection between your emotions and your mental space, thoughts. Any thoughts that frustrate or thoughts that bring joy. Aware here of your whole body connection, the connection among physical sensation, thought, and emotion. Aware that all is temporary. Our sensations, our emotions, our thoughts, and not entirely connected to who we are, who we want to be, our identity. We don't have to act on sensation or emotion or thought. We can simply observe what is there. And then here, when you're ready, bringing gentle movement to your body. You might wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Gently open your eyes if they're closed. And together we'll find a deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, let go. Again, feel free if you need to shift, adjust, get your notebook, because we are going into what would be more of a discussion if we had a larger group, but this will be largely more a lecture style. So feel free to get a notebook so you can jot down some notes. I'll have a little bit of a couple of graphics, a few graphics here for you to be able to write things down. And then I will also type out in the chat some of the journaling prompts that we'll move through. So this will largely be a little bit more journaling and or lecture and journaling style. So when you are ready, we're going to get into the 8-limb path. Just so that we know where we're at after we discuss the 8-limb path, which is the Ashtanga lineage of the yoga practice, we will move into we'll move into breathwork and Om, and we will close with a mantra. Oh, I didn't create a card for that. Well, I'll type out. No, I really want to create that. So I'm going to create a thing quick so that we have that. And thank you for your patience. You can kind of review what I have there up on the screen as far as our 8-limb practice. Maybe take a few notes there as I get our mantra loaded so that that's ready to go. So let's see, I want to do this here. And as you can see on the 8-limb path of yoga, there's probably a few things there that are familiar, related to movement, related to meditation. And there's probably some things on there that are not so familiar. And if you're, particularly if you're very new to yoga just in general, and especially if you're new to the philosophies, the yogic philosophy. The 8-limb path does come from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, I have been reading a interpretation in Yoga Story Time. So if you're following on YouTube, you'll be able to see a Yoga Story Time playlist. And that is where I have a few readings up. So I have been going live to read through the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And I have also been reading an introduction to yoga, a book that was written in the early 1900s that was all about the practice of yoga and what it is, and making it a little bit more accessible. But it's also a very academic read, so it's not necessarily as accessible for all people. All right, so I want to type out our mantra so that that's ready to go. And then we'll get into our discussion on the 8-limb path of yoga. Apologies, and thank you so much for your patience as I get this loaded in. So our 8-limb path starts with ways that we interact with the world around us and ways that we care for ourselves. So I will go through those 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. So those 5 kind of types of observances and behaviors. And then we will journal on those. And I'm almost ready, almost have this up. There. Okay. Yay. Okay. Now that's downloading, so that will be ready to go once we get to that mantra practice. So thank you for your patience on that. And one of these days when I have, when I can make more time for it, for those that are catching these on the replay, right now you're getting the full live experience. These are all unedited on the replay. So yeah, you get the full live. So we're going to talk about first the yamas. So our yamas are ways in which we interact with the world around us. These include ahimsa, which is non-harming, or the positive way of saying that is be kind. Thus, number 2 is satya, or non-lying. A positive way of saying that is be honest, be truthful. Asteya is non-stealing, or positive way of putting that is gratitude, being grateful. Brahmacharya, which means self-control or moderation, it literally translates to celibacy, because in that time, so going back to ancient yoga, it was a lot of, it was very guru to student, teacher to student focused, and it was also mostly men practiced yoga. So it was very gendered in that way as well. And so there was this brahmacharya, which is translates to celibacy, this idea that if you, it was really just about preserving as much energy, as much physical energy as you can for the purpose of meditating. Everything in the Yoga Sutras, as we'll find when we get into talking about the asana practices or the asanas, is about ways in which we can come to a space of meditation where we're ready to meditate. We're ready to absorb what is going on in our inner spiritual space, who we tap into that, to that true higher self, or to that higher power beyond ourself, whatever that looks like for us. So brahmacharya, the way that we think about it in our contemporary times, is we think about it more as self-control or moderation, and you might also think of it as still energy preservation, checking on our energy so that we're showing up with right energy when we are in spaces, right? Because these are ways of interacting with the world. And then 5 is aparigraha, which is non-attachment. And a positive way of putting that is generosity, being generous. It also can mean non-hoarding. So simplifying, choosing a more minimalistic lifestyle. And what can you get rid of, right? Wintertime and springtime, we talk about spring cleaning, but wintertime, where we're all, if you're in a place where the seasons change significantly, like I am here in Wisconsin, we definitely have a very distinct winter that can run anywhere from October to May, or this year our we didn't see our first snow, I think, until late October, maybe even early November. So it was a little bit different this year. It could go November to April. Right? Um, so anyway, the idea, I got hung up on the on the weather. Oh man. So the idea is, of course, or what I'm getting at with that is we can take this time, particularly if on those days that the weather is not so great, when we're not necessarily going to get outside, if we have the time, we can take that to spend it getting organized in our homes, right? So not hoarding material things, not attaching to anything. And this could also look like, as I contemplate this a little bit more deeply, not necessarily just being related to material things, but also not being in the non-attachment, not being attached to outcomes, not being attached to relationships, even not being attached to even to some degree who we think we are. Because if we are seeking to learn and grow, if we're seeking self-awareness, if we're seeking a deeper spiritual truth, if that's something that we believe exists, we're, again, not attaching to the outcome. We're enjoying the process of seeking, but we're also not attaching ourselves to the ever evolving beliefs as we're moving through our spiritual practice. So, for example, for myself, both my politics and my spiritual walk have significantly shifted over the years of learning and growing and being and experiencing. So this is part of that non-attachment. Then we have our niyamas, and these are ways of caring for ourselves. So the first niyama is saucha, which is cleanliness. And this, of course, can have to do with cleanliness of the body, but it can also mean cleanliness of the mind, which is simply observing what are we taking in? What are we reading? What are we watching? What are we listening to? And what is that stirring up in? What is that stirring up in our minds? And this leads right into the second niyama, which is contentment. Until we can come to even briefly a place of contentment, again, all this path leading us to a space where we can meditate. It's very hard, it's very difficult for us to meditate when we are not already content. Now, there's different ways of meditating so that we can get into that space of contentment. So, for example, when we go for a walk, our eyes do this thing called occipital flow, where they move back and forth. And there is a therapeutic practice called EMDR. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to look it up. EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So I just looked that up quick, where while you're recalling a difficult situation, someone holds something in front of your eyes, moving it back and forth so that your eyes have to move back and forth to follow that. And there's something there, I can't remember exactly technically how it's all connected, but it is in some form or fashion connected to the amygdala. And our amygdala is thought to be that fear, or is our fear, the fear center of our brain. It's that place that, when activated, triggers our sympathetic nervous system, which throws us into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So when we oh my, I just like totally lost what I was saying. Oh yeah, walking. So when we go for a walk, and this is oftentimes what we're asked to do, right? When we get into maybe a heated argument with someone, and they say, you know, the recommendation is go for a walk. That's part of what's happening. Is it's not only good cardiovascular, exercise, physical exercise, but it is also calming our nervous system because of the natural eye motion that happens when we're moving our bodies forward, or when we're walking forward. Then we have tapas, which is discipline, or fire is the translation there. And that is our meaningful work. So what are we on fire about? What are we passionate about? What do we find meaning in? What type of work do we find meaning in? What is that? Maybe it's a career path, or maybe it is something completely outside of a typical professional career space. We might be passionate. Our meaningful work might be raising kids or taking care of family. Our meaningful work might be volunteerism. It might be caring for the environment. Whatever that is, that really brings us a sense of meaning is what is meant by, okay, this is the discipline that I'm going to lean into or study because I have a passion for it. And then we have svadhyaya, which is self-study. So this is a continuing building of our self-awareness, continuing to build on our on our body awareness. That can start with the asana practice. So it can start with moving our body through different postures to study how our body is moving. What parts maybe feel a little bit more tense or relaxed? What parts are strong or weak? And then this can also go into the mental space. So observing our thoughts, observing our emotions, observing how we're responding to things. What are we bringing into our lives? Again, going back to cleanliness, what are we reading, listening to, or watching, and how is that, how are we responding to that, and how does that build our understanding of who we are? How does our reaction to things coming in, how does our response determine who or the kind of person we are, and who do we want to be, and how can we learn to be that? And then lastly, our fifth niyama is Ishvara Pranidhana, which is surrender. This is surrender to a higher power. You could also think of it as surrender to a higher meaning, going back to that meaningful work. This could be letting go of anything that is outside of our control. So just surrendering to what is, what we can't control. This can also be surrendering to what we do have control of. So surrendering to a focus or a redirection of focus toward what we are meant to do here. And I don't usually like to use that term of being meant to do something. But it's the best word that I can come up with. And do feel free, as always, whether you're catching this live or on the replay, feel free to share your thoughts as well. So I'm going to bring up both of these, the niyamas, and if I can I bring them up at the same time? Only one after the other? Let me see. Okay, I don't think there's necessarily a way. There probably is, and I just don't know. And I just don't know how to do it. So, yeah. So what we'll do here now is we'll journal on, you can choose either from the yamas or from the niyamas. And I'll just kind of switch between the two if I can quickly create something so that they can both be up on the screen at the same time. So some of the things that you might think about journaling wise, and I'll type out these in the comments, is on the yamas side of things, on ahimsa, which is non-harming or be kind. How have you showed kindness this year? We're in day one. Welcome. How have you showed kindness last year? So you can reflect on your past year, where you've showed kindness or where you've been shown kindness. Or you can share or journal on how you want to show kindness this year. So that is one possible prompt. Then we have Satya, which is truthfulness. And here you might consider maybe reflect on your honesty with people. Or how do you want to show up with honesty in this year? Asteya. For that one, because most of us know that it's not appropriate to steal other people's property, but sometimes we steal other people's energy. So here, maybe you can consider how you want to be more aware of the energy that you're bringing into a space or the energy that you're taking from a space. Or maybe reflect on that from this past year. You could also write a gratitude list. gratitude being one of those ways that we can keep from being envious and focus on what we have. So developing that abundance mindset, developing a sense of contentment with what we have. With brahmacharya, this being self-control or moderation, here taking a moment to reflect on where your energy is at in this moment, or where you might want to, or what you might want to what you might want to do to preserve your energy. And then lastly here, if you are journaling on the yamas, aparigraha, parigraha, which is non-attachment or non-hoarding or generosity, you could reflect on, rather, where you have been generous this year or this past year. Reflect on your generosity, or share, or not, I mean, you can share, or journal about where you want to bring more generosity, or what you want to let go. So that covers the yamas. And then if you want to journal on the niyamas, with saucha, cleanliness, consider what you have been consuming mentally, physically, spiritually. And what has been helpful for you in those spaces of the physical, mental, and emotional or spiritual, and what has been unhelpful. I'm trying to do too much. Niyamas. Oh, niyamas, santosha. And you can take these to journal on after this as well, but I know we're here now, so feel free to just go ahead and start. If you want to journal about santosha, a prompt might be, consider those spaces, times or people that have enhanced your sense of contentment or just have brought you contentment, have brought, and how you might continue to cultivate that for your own life. And then you might, for tapas, consider what are you passionate about, or what meaningful work do you want to find or continue? Or further develop. I'll add deepen focus. And then for svadhyaya, self-study, taking a moment here to, you might reflect on or just simply observe how your body is feeling in this moment. Go back through the 5 senses practice. Go back into that mindfulness of thoughts and emotion. Or reflect on what you have learned about yourself over the past year. And then lastly here, Ishvari Pranidaha, surrender. Reflecting on what holds meaning for you beyond yourself. I think is probably the best way to put that. So this could be a spiritual entity, God. This could be a spiritual place. This could be just getting out in nature. This could be a group. Whatever holds meaning for you that is beyond yourself. So again, thinking about collaboration, thinking about nature, thinking about a universe or a collective consciousness, a oneness with all. So feel free to take a moment to journal on these things, and we'll come back. I knew that I was going to go a little bit over with this, with the yamas and niyamas, but I will return here in about 3 minutes. So feel free to go through those prompts, go through those different prompts on the yamas and niyamas. Pick one or two in the next 3 minutes to journal on with whatever prompt kind of lands best for you. And I will be back in about 3 minutes here. Welcome back. Here we'll, oh, apologies. Okay. Here we will move through our, oh yeah, because I started a little bit later, so we have plenty of time. So we'll move through our breathwork and Om practice, and I have guided some of these breathwork practices before. So we're going to start with, oh, where can I bring that up? There we go. So we're going to start with our resonance breath, then move into, I'm just looking for where I can bring these up. Nope. I do not always have things preloaded. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just guide. We don't need a card for it. I'll get it together one of these days. I'm excited actually to do these. So I want to bring more, probably about once a quarter. I'll do these mini retreats, and I will give myself some grace for this being the first one that I'm doing in this way. So yeah, thank you for your patience as well. So here I'm just going to go ahead and guide the breath work, and we're going to start with a resonance breath. That's a 5.5 count inhale to 5.5 count exhale. You can also just it's basically just an inhale to exhale for the same same count inhale to exhale. So if you have a lesser breath capacity, you can do a 4 count, you could do a 3 count. You can if you want to challenge your breath capacity, maybe you increase that to a 6 count or a 7 count, whatever works best here for your respiratory system, for your breath, for your body. So we'll do 3 cycles of our resonance breath, and then we'll do 3 cycles of our box breathing. And that is a 3 count inhale through the nose, a 3 count hold, a 3 count exhale, exhaling through the mouth, followed by a 3 count hold, and then continuing that for 3 cycles of breath. Do what you can. If there's anything in these breathing practices that are prohibitive for you, please honor where your body is at. So we'll start with our resonance breath, but we'll start with a deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and return to your natural rhythm of breath. And then here we'll move into our box breath and then into our mantra, our closing mantra for the day. So here, guiding that box breath, we'll start first with a deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth exhale. And remembering with our box breath, we're exhaling through the mouth. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Open mouth, exhale, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Open mouth, exhale, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And return to your natural rhythm of breath. And then here we will close with a mantra. So feel free to find a comfortable place to be. You can certainly sing or say the mantra with me, or you can just relax and listen. So whatever feels best for you to do, feel free. This is indeed live, and we are just about to do our closing mantra. I believe on Twitch, this will be up for a few days. I think the lives stay up for 5 days. I'm still quite new to Twitch, to that space. But I am guiding this on YouTube as well, and these will be hosted there for as long as my channel exists. So this will always be available on YouTube. Live streaming also here across LinkedIn and my Yoga Story Facebook page. So thank you all who are following on Twitch, subscribed on YouTube, connected on LinkedIn, and following on Facebook. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, if you have found some value from today's session, from today's little mini retreat, feel free to follow, like, share, subscribe, like, share, connect, like, share, follow. All of that. The words you see currently on your screen mean, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. That is the closest translation that we have. You can easily find online a breakdown of the of each part of each of these words for their more direct translation, English translation. So feel free to do a deep dive for yourself if you'd like. But yes, the closest translation that we have is, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. So I'm going to type that into the comments. The pronunciation is Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. And I'll say that again, just so that to help you have success in saying these out loud. If you do want to chant with me, it's Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. All right. And here we go. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu.
Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. Take care of yourselves out there. Peace.